There's another one that we want to deal with today, and that is the discussion about long-term care. And it's not a discussion about whether you buy long-term care insurance or not. Maybe it ultimately leads to that. But in terms of how each spouse thinks about how they would like to be cared for if they no longer can care for themselves.
And often the thing that springboards them to talk about it is some sort of negative experience where they've got a family member that's in a facility or something. And often by the time you're in your late 60s, it's much more challenging to get approval if you do want an insurance product. So we encourage people to start talking about that in their 50s. At least have the conversation and start, making some plans, whatever your plans are going to be, because the statistics tell us, for 2022, Fidelity estimates that a 65-year-old couple retiring this year can expect to spend an average of $315,000 on healthcare expenses. So it's important to plan for it at the very least.
And when you think about that number, that sounds like an astronomical number, but when you think about the cost of just inpatient nursing home care, you're looking at somewhere in the $6,000 to $7,000 a month range if you get the type of care that you really would like to have. No one wants to think about going to a nursing home, and so what's happened over the years is these benefits have evolved to take into account, Janet, a lot of things like home health care and periodic care at home.
Yeah, when you talk about how do you want to be cared for most people, it is, I want to stay at home as long as I possibly can. And so the products can be structured to do that. It doesn't have to be an assumption of a nursing home. But I want to encourage people, this is what I always tell people when we're talking about a long-term care decision. Let's make an intentional decision. I don't care if you get coverage or you don't, and if you do get coverage, what type of coverage. But we're going to go through the process of talking about it. We're going to go through the process of understanding what it would cost for you. So we get underwriting, and we're not talking about some nebulous, it might be this much, but it might be more, it might be less. We're talking about your numbers, and you get to make an intentional decision about that. And the reason this matters, guys, if you don't do that, then you come in at 55 and you kind of sort of think about it and you kick the tires a little bit. And then you come in at 56 and you do the same thing. And this continues until sometime in your 60s, when I guarantee you're on more prescription medication than you were at 55. And you might have health issues that actually preclude you from getting coverage, not from getting it at a reasonable rate, but from getting it at all. And so your default to, well, let's think about it, that your indecision has become your decision, and you don't have the opportunity to do it anymore. So let's just make an intentional decision and not look back.
Want more content like this delivered to your inbox weekly? Visit fastest4.com to learn more.